Hello, everyone. It's Nurse Sarah from the Oak Lane Wellness Clinic. I'm so glad you could join me today. I want to start by asking a question. Do you ever feel like you're doing all the right things, but that little spark of energy just isn't what it used to be? It's a common feeling, a quiet whisper from our bodies. Maybe you wake up feeling a bit more tired than you'd like, or perhaps you've noticed your ankles are a little puffier at the end of the day. These aren't things to panic about. They're simply your body's gentle way of asking for attention. Often, that whisper is connected to how well our bodies are keeping themselves clean on the inside. This brings us to our kidneys, and a number many of you may have seen on lab reports: creatinine. Today, we're not going to focus on alarming warnings. Instead, we'll explore a few simple, powerful do's. We'll look at some common daily habits and discover the gentle swaps that can help you feel more vibrant and in control. Let's learn to work with our bodies, not against them. Let's talk about our first everyday challenge, the hidden salt saboteur. Many of us are diligent about not using the salt shaker. We put it away in the cabinet. We feel proud of that choice. But the real issue often hides in foods we consider convenient and even healthy. I'm talking about canned soups, store-bought bread, cured meats, and frozen dinners. Even that turkey sandwich you might think is a healthy lunch choice. These foods can contain as much salt as if you'd sprinkled 3 teaspoons directly onto your plate. Think of your kidneys as incredibly fine filters. Picture the most delicate coffee filter you've ever seen. When you have too much sodium, your body holds onto water to dilute it. This raises your blood pressure. It's like trying to force muddy water through that delicate coffee filter over and over again. Over time, this constant pressure wears them out. It makes it harder for your kidneys to filter waste like creatinine. They're working so hard to manage all that extra salt and water, they can't keep up with their regular cleaning duties. The wonderful news is that flavor doesn't have to come from salt. Our first gentle solution is what I call the flavor swap. Let me introduce you to 2 kitchen heroes that can transform your meals. First is garlic. Garlic is a true superstar. It contains a compound called allicin, which actually supports healthy blood pressure. It adds a deep, rich, savory flavor to almost anything. Keep garlic powder in your pantry, not garlic salt, just plain garlic powder. It's a fantastic staple. Another hero is the red bell pepper. These bright, cheerful vegetables are sweet and crunchy. They're crucially low in potassium, which is important because stressed kidneys can struggle with too much potassium. Red bell peppers are also packed with vitamins that help protect those delicate kidney filters. The gentle shift here is simple. Look at one canned or processed item you eat regularly. Just one. Maybe it's that afternoon soup or your sandwich meat. Next time you shop, try a fresh alternative. Season it with garlic powder, fresh herbs, or add some sliced red peppers for crunch and color. It's a small change that immediately lightens the load on your hard-working kidneys. Our second challenge is what I call the misunderstood hydration. Here's what happens to many of us. We start our day with coffee thinking we're getting fluids, or perhaps we drink less water throughout the day to avoid those frequent bathroom trips. This is completely understandable, especially if you're out running errands or don't want to interrupt your favorite TV show. But this well-meaning approach can create a cycle of low-grade dehydration. Your body is quietly thirsty, even when you don't feel it. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your bloodstream is a clear, flowing river. This river's job is to wash away waste and carry nutrients where they need to go. Water is the current that makes this river flow strong and clean. When you're dehydrated, that river becomes slow and sluggish. Waste products like creatinine start to linger longer in your system. They're not getting swept away efficiently. This puts immense stress on your kidneys, which now have to work much harder to clean a muddy river instead of a clear, flowing one. The solution isn't about forcing down gallons of water. That's not comfortable, and it's not necessary. Instead, it's about being smarter. I call this eating your water and adopting the first glass rule. Let me share 2 water-rich foods that do double duty for your kidneys. First is the humble apple. An apple is about 85% water, but it's so much more than that. It's rich in a special fiber called pectin. Pectin helps stabilize your blood sugar and can even lower cholesterol. Both of these benefits are critical for protecting the tiny blood vessels in your kidneys. When you eat an apple, you're hydrating and healing at the same time. It's like giving your kidneys a gentle, nourishing hug. Another water-rich hero is cabbage. Now I know cabbage might not sound exciting, but hear me out. Cabbage is wonderfully low in potassium, and contains natural compounds that support your body's detoxification pathways. It's literally giving your kidneys a helping hand while providing gentle hydration. And here's the first glass rule. It's beautifully simple. Before your morning coffee, drink 1 full glass of plain water. That's it. This rehydrates your system after the night's natural dehydration and kickstarts that river cleaning process for the day. It's a powerful 5-second habit that can make a world of difference. Our final challenge is perhaps the most critical, the breakfast burden. For many of us, a hearty American breakfast brings to mind sausage, bacon, or those colorful, crunchy cereals we grew up with. These foods seem substantial and satisfying. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. These high-sodium, high-protein foods are incredibly complex for your kidneys to break down. Picture this. Asking your kidneys to process that kind of breakfast is like asking one person to clean up after a huge party, first thing in the morning, every single day. It's exhausting. Your kidneys wake up and immediately face this enormous task. The waste products generated from breaking down all that processed protein and sodium are a primary reason why creatinine levels can remain stubbornly high, no matter what else you try. Your kidneys are spending all their morning energy on this cleanup job, leaving little reserve for their other important work throughout the day. And this brings us to our most important gentle solution. This is the one food from our title. The one food that, if it's missing from your routine, could be the key you've been searching for. It is humble, powerful, and has been quietly helping people for generations. It's oats. Plain, old-fashioned rolled oats. Let me tell you why oats are truly a kidney's best friend. They contain a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Think of this fiber as thousands of tiny microscopic sponges living in your digestive system. As food moves through your body, these sponges bind to waste products and cholesterol in your gut. They escort these toxins out of your body naturally, so they never even reach your kidneys. Your kidneys get a break from having to filter all that extra waste. Beta-glucan also slows down sugar absorption, preventing those blood sugar spikes that can damage the delicate vessels in your kidneys over time. The shift is beautifully simple. Swap that burdensome breakfast for a bowl of slow-cooked oats a few times a week. You can make it a true powerhouse by adding a handful of blueberries. Blueberries are low in potassium and packed with antioxidants that fight inflammation. This isn't just a meal, it's an act of deep, restorative care for your body. You're literally feeding your kidneys exactly what they need to thrive. I want to tell you about a gentleman named Arthur, a 72-year-old retired carpenter who came to see me about 8 months ago. Arthur walked into my office feeling frustrated and honestly, a bit defeated. His ankles were puffy, especially by evening. His lab numbers had become a constant source of anxiety. Every doctor visit felt like waiting for bad news. He sat across from me and said, "Sarah, I've been so careful. I put the salt shaker away months ago. I've cut back on so many foods I used to enjoy. Why isn't it working? What am I doing wrong?" Arthur's story is so common, and my heart went out to him. We sat down together and looked at his typical day. We discovered that his healthy routine actually included deli turkey sandwiches for lunch every day. Those were loaded with hidden sodium. He was drinking coffee and tea throughout the day, but very little actual water. Here's what I loved about Arthur. He didn't want to change everything at once. He was tired of dramatic overhauls that never seemed to stick. So we started with just one thing, the first glass rule. Every morning before his coffee, 1 glass of water. After 2 weeks, he noticed something interesting. He felt less groggy in the mornings. That encouraged him to try the next step. Instead of the deli turkey, he started buying plain chicken breast. He'd grill it himself and season it with garlic powder. He added a big salad with red peppers and cabbage. Arthur told me, "You know, Sarah, I actually feel less bloated. My pants aren't as tight after lunch." These small victories kept him motivated. The final piece was breakfast. Arthur was hesitant to give up his familiar cereal routine, but he agreed to try oats just on weekends, topped with blueberries from his neighbor's bush. Something beautiful happened. Arthur started looking forward to those weekend breakfast bowls. He'd sit on his porch, eating his oats, watching the morning light filter through his trees. It became a peaceful ritual. After about 2 months of these small, stacked changes, Arthur came back for a follow-up visit. The first thing I noticed was his walk. He moved with more energy. The puffiness in his ankles was virtually gone. He told me he'd started working in his wood shop again, something he'd given up because he was too tired. But the best part was his next doctor's visit. For the first time in years, his creatinine number hadn't just stabilized, it had actually dropped several points. His doctor was impressed and asked what he'd been doing differently. Arthur said, "It wasn't a miracle, Sarah. It was just small, consistent choices. I finally feel like I'm back in the driver's seat." His story reminds us that healing doesn't require perfection. It requires patience and consistency with gentle, sustainable changes. As we saw with Arthur, lasting change comes down to these simple shifts. Challenge: the hidden salt saboteur. Solution: the flavor swap to garlic and red peppers. Challenge: misunderstood hydration. Solution: the first glass rule, and eating your water with apples and cabbage. Challenge: the breakfast burden. Solution: swapping it for the kidney's best friend, a simple bowl of oats. Now, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by everything we've talked about today. Change doesn't have to happen all at once. In fact, it shouldn't. I invite you to do just one thing. Pick one gentle solution that resonated with you as we talked today. Maybe it was something about Arthur's story that spoke to your heart, or perhaps one of the food swaps sounded doable for your routine. Maybe tomorrow, you'll simply start with that first glass of water. Or maybe next time you're at the grocery store, you'll pick up an apple for your afternoon snack. Or perhaps this weekend, you'll try a bowl of oats with a few blueberries. Just one thing. Be curious about how it feels in your body. Notice the small changes. Your body will tell you if you're on the right track. If you do try something, I would be honored if you shared your experience in the comments below. Your story might be exactly the encouragement someone else needs to hear. We're all in this together. Please remember, your body wants to heal. Your kidneys want to do their job well. Our job isn't to force healing, but to simply stop putting obstacles in their way. These small shifts are acts of removing those obstacles. Your health is a journey of 1,000 tiny steps, not a giant leap. And you have so much more control than you might think. Take that first small step today. Thank you for your time. Be well.